Hey Primary 5 Math Prodigies, this is Coach Saiful with your daily dose of math mastery, and today we're going to go into question number 1 of your assessment paper number 7 on percentage, alright? So these questions are pretty simple if you understand the principle of percentages, alright? So let's go into the questions right away. The questions say this: express each of the following as a percentage. Now A is 2 and 1/4. Okay, now before we go into this question, let me just ask you a few questions first. Okay, now what is one big whole equals to in terms of percentage? If you said 100%, you are right. Good job. Okay, one big whole is equals to 100%. Okay, and any part of it is considered less than 100%. For example, one big whole can be imagined as one big prata. Okay, so one big prata. Let's say if I tell you that half of the prata, okay, this is how the prata. What is the percentage? Half of the prata is equals to how many percent? It's actually equals to 50%. Now let's find out why. Percent basically means out of 100 parts. Out of 100 parts. Okay? Out of 100 parts. You need to remember this. So imagine this prata being broken down into 100 parts. I'm not going to be able to draw this, but let's imagine we just broke this down into 100 parts. In other words, half, we make this into divided into 100 parts instead of 2. Right now it's 1 divided by 2. So how do we make it 100? We multiply this by 50. When we multiply the top also by 50, we must be fair, remember that. So 1 times 50 is going to give me 50, and over 2 times 50 is going to give me 100. Anything over 100 means it is 50%. 50 out of 100. So remember, the word percent means out of 100 parts. Just remember that, and then you'll be good. Okay? So now with that, let's do the question right away. What happened to my... okay, hold on. With that, let's go into the question right away. Okay, something is wrong here. Let me pause this video and I'll get back to you in a while. Okay, we are back. Okay, now I'll do the question for you. The question is, again, 2 and 1/4 in terms of percentages. Okay, so let's write the numbers 2 and 1/4. Now we need to break this down into two parts. One is the 2 pratas and the other part is the quarter of the prata. So the 2 pratas is going to give you how many percent? Okay, it's basically one big whole times 2. So that's going to give you 200%. Okay. The next part is 1/4. Again, how do we make 1/4 into a percentage format? We basically make the denominator divided by 100. So how do we make this 100? Now it's already divided by 4. We times 25. When we times 25 below, we must be fair. We must always times 25 to the top. So 25 times 1 gives you 25. 4 times 25 gives you 100, and that means that's 25%. So 25%, you must add it to the 2 big holes that you had just now. So your answer will be 225%. If you got that one right, high five to you because you are a math prodigy. Good job. Okay, now the next part of the question, part B says, express 0.09 as a percentage. Now, 0.09 is a different format. Okay, but don't worry, we can actually do this very simply. Now again, like I said, we always have to remember one thing about percentages. It's just that the bottom has to be made into 100. Now 0.09, what is a decimal? What is this decimal? How do I convert it to a fraction? Okay, remember, anything that has a decimal like this, it basically means you divide it by, for example, this is divided by 10 and divided by 100. In other words, 0.09 is the same as I'm saying 9.0 divided by 100. Okay, to prove it to you, let's look at 9.0. Okay, the number over here, or also known as a decimal point, can be moved backwards, right? When you divide it, so you move it once. So does the decimal point goes here? No, because it is 100. You have just only divided by 10. Let's divide it by another 10 times, and so we move the number or the decimal point another point to the side. So the point goes here, and what goes here? 0. Okay, so what you're left with is 0.09. So we erase the back part. What we're left with is 0.09. And remember, it's just basically 0.09, which now looks like this. So it basically means 9.0 divided by 10, or 9.0 divided by 100, or also known as 9 divided by 100, which also looks a bit like this. 9 divided by 100. Now, anything 9 divided by 100, remember, it is basically means 9%, because percent means over 100 parts, out of 100 parts. Therefore, the answer here would be 9%. If you got that one right, high five to you, because you are a math prodigy. Good job to you. Okay, now for part C, let's move on to part C. 2 over 7. Okay, now this is a little bit challenging. 2 over 7, how do we make it into percentage? Okay, how many percent does this equal to? Now for this, you need to take out your calculator, because there is no way you're going to make this number at the bottom, this 7, into a 100. Okay, it's very tough to make this into 100. Actually, you can lah. Okay, what you can do is you can actually take 100 divided by 7, but what you will get is something that looks a bit like this. Yeah, so it's very, very difficult. So what I would suggest to you is just take the 2 divided by 7, and you will get the answer of this. Okay, 0.2857 blah 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 blah. Okay, now how do I change this into a percentage? Basically, so let's erase this first. Okay, let's write down the answer. The answer was 0. Oops, where's my calculator? Okay, 0.2857. I'm just going to take the 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.2857. 0.2857. Okay, now for fractions to turn into percentage, right? Now again, like I said, is basically, this means you divide it by how many times? By 10, by 100, by 1000, by 10,000. Now, instead of doing that, we can also do another method, with this times 100%. Okay, so times 100%, basically what happens is you keep the percent at the back. Okay, and you just times this by 100. That means you move these 2 decimal places forward, 1 and 2. So what you will get is 28.571. Okay, 28.571%. Normally your questions will always ask you to round it off to 1 decimal place or 2 decimal place. Let's just say it's 2 decimal place. So the answer will be 28.57%. So if you got that one right, high five to you, because you, my friend, are a math prodigy. Good job. So again, another method now that we've just learned is to actually multiply by 100%. So if a fraction, for example, in the form of 2 over 10 or 2 over 100, for example, equals to 0.02, another way we can do it is also to times 100%. So we put the percentage thing below, and then we just multiply this by 100. So we move it once to the right and twice to the right to give us 2.0. So you get 2%, and that's the answer. Okay. Now let's look at a question. Let's look at part D. 4 kilometers out of 3.2 kilometers. Now what does this mean? Okay, so this basically means the same thing, just in a different format. 4 kilometers on top of 3.2 kilometers. That's what it means. 4 kilometers out of 3.2 kilometers. Let's check again. Yes, correct. Now, in this case, you have to turn again the bottom into 100, or the easier way is to just divide the whole thing. So 4 divided by 3.2 is going to give you the answer of 1.25. How do we convert it into a percentage? We multiply it by 100%. Okay, multiply this by 100%. So remember to keep the percentage down, and then just move the number to the right once and twice. So you get 125%. If you got that one right, high five to you, because you are a math prodigy. Good job. Okay, now for the final part of this question, which is 160 minutes out of 3 hours. I think you know this already. 160 minutes out of 3 hours. How do we do this? Simple. First off, always convert the units to the same. So 160 minutes, what is 3 hours? 3 hours is 60 times 3, which gives you 180 minutes. Now you can do it. So 160 divided by 180 is going to give you the answer of 0.88888 recurring 9. So 0.888888, for example. Okay, now what must I do? I must multiply it by 100%. Oops, sorry about this. Times 100%. Again, keep the percentage to your right and then move it 2 places forward. So you will get 88.888. And what you can do next is to just round it up to 2 decimal places. So you get 88.8 what? Is 8 more than 5? Yes, it is. So we round it up to 89%. So that's what you get for part E. If you got that one right, high five to you because you are a math prodigy. Good job. Alright, so that's basically it for question number 1. And which brings me to the quote of the week. The quote of the week is trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. Listen, here's the thing. Most of you are capable of doing a lot of great stuff. Alright, most of you are capable of getting A's and more than that. But here's one thing that I noticed, okay? If we trust ourselves, what happens is it unleashes our abilities to the maximum, okay? So what that basically means is on your mind right now, in your mind right now, you have something called the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind learns every single thing, and it has everything stored in that database in your head, okay? But however, it is not awake, it is asleep. Now, what brings it alive, what brings it up, what wakes it up is something called trust. It is the key that opens the door to that information that you've studied in the past 1 year, past 5 years, or whatever it is in your head. So when you trust yourself, you will realize one thing. You will realize that you know more than you think you do. And trust me, you do know more than you think you do. Give yourself a little bit more credit. Trust yourself and you will do well. And with that, this is Quote Saiful signing off saying you are a math prodigy. Good job.